Welcome back to episode 27 of the Free Your Spirit podcast. In last week's episode, we kind of did a deep dive into the power and importance of ancestral healing, of exploring our ancestral past and doing the work to heal the beliefs that our ancestors have passed on to us that may be hindering us in this lifetime, but also how we have a powerful opportunity to start to tap into the wealth of wisdom and gifts that they have also passed to us through the generations. So in this week's podcast episode, we've actually dug into our archives and we're bringing back a super popular episode where we were talking all about the power and importance of past life work, of exploring our past lives and doing the really deep inner work to heal the past. And this is the work that I love to do. And as an example, when working with my clients that are working in the healing arts, one thing that sort of consistently seems to come up is that they're deeply powerful, they have these incredible gifts, and even though they're doing the things, taking the actions, taking the steps to put their work out into the world because they want to make an impact, they want to support people, they're so driven to help people make those important shifts and changes, even though they're driven and they have this vision, there still are these blocks, these invisible blocks, these walls that they're coming up against. And it's usually really just manifested in them not getting the traction that they want, not making the progress that they would have expected or anticipated given the work that they've put in. And oftentimes, as we do that deep inner exploration and healing, the block is locked in a past life because this isn't our first rodeo. And if you're, as an example, drawn to the healing arts, likely you've done this work in previous lifetimes. But if we were working in the realms of energy healing, things that hundreds of years ago wasn't understood or ran counter to the status quo, what the church believed was good and right and whatever, many healers, many women healers in particular, were actually burnt at the stake. Like terrible, terrible, terrible things happen. And so those events, they're carried forward into subsequent lifetimes. Just as you carry the gifts, it's not all bad. You can access the gifts from those previous lifetimes. And likely you're already using some of them, but there's more that you can explore, more that you can find out about yourself, and also do the work to let go of the trauma of having bad things happen because you practiced your gifts. And so it's again one of those invisible blocks where there's a deep subconscious fear that, oh my God, if I get too visible, if I'm seen, if I'm out there, bad things can happen because bad things happen in the past. And even though they may not be, this isn't something, at the forefront, it's not in their conscious thinking, it's deep, it's subconscious, it's invisible. And that subconscious belief is really what's preventing the growth that they would expect or anticipate. So in this week's episode, we're just really diving into more of the power of doing that deep inner exploration and healing at a past life level. And it's so cool actually to really find out more about who you actually are, that you're not the sum total of this present life experience, that you have these powerful experiences from your past lives, that as you explore them you can activate the best, keep the best, and heal and let go of the rest. And just really knowing more about who you are, the gifts that you have, it can really empower you and increase your confidence to really go after your greatest, biggest goals and dreams. We're infinite, immortal, and eternal. And if you have a big dream, or if you want to shift or whatever, you know that there's something more for you in this lifetime, then that's your soul communicating that to you and guiding you to tap into that. And even the fact that as you're listening to this podcast, trust that you were guided to this podcast to hear what you needed to hear about how it's possible to do this powerful work and really empower yourself moving forward. So I hope you enjoy this week's podcast episode. I'd love to hear what you think about it. Like I say, again, we've brought it back from the archives. It was one of those extremely popular downloaded episodes from 2021. So here you have it, the best of how to unlock your past life superpowers. Hope you enjoy it. So in today's podcast, the theme is unlocking your past life superpowers. Super juicy topic, folks. And if you've been in my world for any length of time, you'll know that this is the work that I'm really obsessed with. I am so deeply passionate about helping my clients unlock their past life, their ancestral gifts, and letting go of the stuff that's keeping them stuck and playing small in life, because we are infinite, immortal spiritual beings. As Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, the French Jesuit philosopher, said, we're spiritual beings in a physical body. And so we are so much, much more than who we think we are. We are deeply powerful, spiritual beings, and the more that we can lean into that power, the more that we can begin to leverage it, that we can reawaken to it, the more that we can really fulfill on our soul's path and purpose in this lifetime, the more that we can help others. This is the powerful work. When if you're listening to this podcast, the Free Your Spirit podcast, my guess is you know this, right? Like deep within the core of your being that there is something more for you to be doing in this lifetime. And maybe you're already on that path, or maybe you're in the process of discovering that path, but you know that there's a whole lot more to who you are, and that there are ways in which you can access that power, that you can unlock your spiritual superpowers. And this is the work that I'm deeply passionate about, and the work that I love to do, because yes, it is possible. And yes, the tools, once you have those tools, my goal in my work is to give those tools, to share those tools, so that you no longer, are relying on somebody else, a psychic or a medium, to have those answers, because you can go directly to source and access the answers you need 24/7. And as you know, one of the fastest, most effective ways for you to actually access your past life history and memory is actually through the power of guided past life journeys. This is the work, again, that I love to do. And the power of these journeys is that you're completely awake and aware as you journey through the mists of time to explore your past life history, to dive into your soul's wisdom and memory, to unlock those memories, to know more of who you are, to know more of the lives that you have lived, to understand maybe the less positive events that have happened in your life, so that you can heal those, so that you can shift and change those meanings. In past life work, oftentimes, I've been working with healers who have started their business, but are finding that even though they're doing the things, they're just not getting the traction that they should be getting. And that's because at a deep subconscious level, they're actually sabotaging themselves. Oftentimes, that sabotage will present itself as overwhelm. They'll be moving forward with their business, they've got this great idea, they've got a great course, and this just doesn't just apply, by the way, to healers. It's anywhere in your life, where you're going after something and you reach a point where you're about to get traction, and then you feel overwhelmed, you start to question yourself, you start to doubt, you take a few steps back and you put the brakes on, which is fine, which is okay to do. But the challenge is, when you pick up that project again, do you continue to move forward with it, or do you choose to do something else? Do you say to yourself, well, maybe that's not the right approach, maybe I should do it this way? And so you're giving yourself the illusion that you're moving forwards when really you're just going around in circles, because this keeps playing out, right? And so that is an example of some pretty subtle self-sabotaging behavior. And I see this frequently, especially with healers. And the reason why this is happening is because on a very deep level, in a previous lifetime, when they were doing this work and sharing this work, some not so good things happened. You know, we know historically all of the witches that were burnt at the stake. It's horrific, horrific. And if in a past life you've experienced a traumatic event for sharing your gifts, for being a healer, for helping other people, then very likely at a deep subconscious level, you hold that memory, that past life memory of that traumatic event. And on a deep subconscious level, as a part of you, they're saying, whoa, let's put the brakes on here. This isn't safe. We're getting into kind of like scary territory. You know, I'm going to keep you safe, and this is what's going to happen. And so those brakes go on. You get overwhelmed. You go in a different direction. And so you never really do the beeline, right? When we're moving forward with plans in life, we want to have a plan, and we need to have a beeline, and we need to go direct, right? None of these U-turns and all of that stuff. Obviously, sometimes that happens and it's a good thing, and follow your intuition. But, you know, pay attention. Even now, as you look back over your life, maybe if you're feeling frustrated, like, why isn't stuff happening? What's going on? Maybe there is a deep subconscious belief playing out that's sabotaging you. And that's why past life exploration is hugely powerful and important, because you have an opportunity to go back to those events. And, you know, the soul loves the truth. So as you do these journeys, as you do past life soul journeys, your soul will take you back. You'll make a decision of perhaps the area, you know, is it visibility you want to explore? Is it your challenges that you're experiencing with your relationships? Is it money? Is it a money block? Is it your attitude to work? Are you kind of like constantly hustling and working your socks off? You know, whatever area of your life, present life, that isn't working for you, you can actually, through the process of these past life journeys, be guided to go back to a past life event that is impacting you in that particular area in this lifetime. So hugely powerful. And as you do it, you're completely awake and aware, and you can bring back, you can do the healing work, the deep healing work, but you can bring back and start to integrate the things you need to use. And that includes awakening those gifts, the past life gifts that lie dormant within you. It's hugely, hugely, deeply powerful work. And if you're listening to me and maybe there's a part of you who's like, Louise, I'm not sure I believe that. Sounds a little too woo and out there for me. You know, what if what I experience in a past life journey is completely made up? Well, here's the truth. Everything you think and believe about yourself is made up. And who made it up? You did. So the truth is, if by doing a past life journey, you are able to heal a part of you that has been stuck, then wouldn't that past life journey be worth it? Right? I mean, even now, today, therapists, psychotherapists, they use past life work. It's way more mainstream than you may actually realize. I was trained by Dr. Brian Weiss, who's like a world-renowned psychiatrist, right? And he discovered past life work by accident, but there's a great book that he's written called Many Lives and Many Masters, you know, where he documents the work that he did with a woman, calls her Catherine, where she kept going back when he was regressing her, she kept going back into past lives. And he found that the healing that was occurring as a result of healing those past life events and memories was deeply profound and powerful. And he made the decision, you know, it was a scary thing for him to do, to kind of like, because his background is science, right? To actually, you know, draw a line in the sand and actually within his industry and say, this is powerful work. And when I trained with Brian Weiss, Dr. Weiss, it's like maybe 7 or 8 years ago now, I'd say at least 95% of the people there were psychotherapists, therapists, hypnotherapists, who also recognized the power of past life work. Hugely, hugely powerful. I'm so passionate about it. I love the breakthroughs that my clients experience as a result of doing this work. So there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Alrighty, folks, I'm so glad you joined us here today. Thank you for pressing play, and I shall see you in the next episode. Bye for now.